Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. Because it's afternoon recording this particular episode. And it's been quite a while, and I'm quite excited again to be on your phone, precisely, and you're listening to my wonderful voice. And I would love to say I appreciate you. And today is the anticipated episode that I've been looking forward to. It's the episode on the power focus, and right here with me I have Peter, a friend, a brother, and a visionary of many projects. So I'll just give him the opportunity to introduce himself. So, Peter, how are you doing? Trust you good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Great. So, can we meet you?
Yeah, alright. So, my name is Peter Korede, the founder of Academic Project 1.0 and the CEO of Millennial Mindset. Yeah, of course, as he has rightly said, I'm a visionary. I'm actually the owner of Millennial Mindset, and of course, I'm a student of University of Ibadan.
Awesome. That was very good, and it's nice to meet you, Peter. Saying that on behalf of my listeners. Alright, so let's go straight to the point, the power focus.
Okay.
And first of all, I'd love you to define focus in your personal words. So from your personal experience and perhaps maybe some other kind of words, can you just tell us what focus is based on your personal experience?
Yeah, alright. So I would actually love to start with the fact that although I checked a lot of definition while I was preparing for this particular meeting, but then I was able to just get a particular definition which stood out to me. But I would not like to go with that definition because my host said that I should just go with I should pick a definition from my experience. So paying attention to my past experience, I discovered that focus is just the ability to concentrate your attention or your energy on something. Your ability to eliminate distraction, your ability to direct your energy on something. I mean, on a given goal, on a given task, on an assignment, on a project, or on a purpose.
Awesome. That was a very good definition. So, focus is the ability to concentrate on something, giving your full attention to something. Anyway, so I would like you to highlight the importance of focus in achieving personal and professional goals, and how focus can help you achieve your goals and live a more fulfilling life.
Wow, thank you for that. That's beautiful. Alright, I would like to say focus is the gateway to all thinking. Yeah, before you can achieve something tangible, before you can achieve anything in life, you need to embrace that area of your life, that's power to remain focused. Now, I discovered that there are a lot of people with good IQ, a lot of people with good potential, but they lack focus. Alright, so of course, focus has actually helped me in achieving my professional goals. And one thing focus has helped me to achieve is my millionaire mindset, because of course, before you can control certain level of money, you must be focused. Alright, so let me just give you 3 practical steps. Sorry, can I get your question back?
Important.
Alright, importance. Alright, the first thing is focus has helped me to remain more productive. Exactly. Through the power of focus, I've been able to achieve my to-do list. I've been able to meet up with my target. I've been able to finish up with my deadline. I've been able to meet my personal schedule and my personal goals. And secondly, onto it has helped me to achieve my personal goals. Exactly. And focus also has helped me to build the habits required for success, because I discovered that now a man once said that there are 99 secrets to success, but if you lack focus, you cannot build the habit that is required for success. So it is not possible to achieve success without focus. So generally, focus has helped me to achieve success, and of course, that's helped me to meet up with my daily activities.
That was a very awesome answer. And I love the fact that you said something. You said focus is the gateway to all thinking. I think I need to ponder on that myself. So now let's move to your story.
Okay.
And I'd love to share a personal story or experience where a lack of focus hindered your progress or success.
Alright, so I would actually like to give my online listener a background gist. Alright, so I was actually born in a family of 3, my 2 brothers and of course, I'm the last born. Yeah, the name of my dad is Babatunde and my mom, Faith. All right, so being the last born, I really have all I need. They provided all I requested for. All right, so it was back then in SS1. Of course, I used to be a very brilliant guy. It's either it's either come with a prize or I what's it called now?
Award.
Yeah, or an award, exactly. So back then I used to be this kind of student that other students would look up to. So it was in SS2, I could remember vividly, there was this a first timer. Exactly, she came to my school, a very pretty girl. So back then, I actually didn't really know much about purpose. I actually didn't know much about focus as I know now. So I told the girl, I asked her out. So I could remember we engaged in a relationship. Before I know, the relationship started telling on my grades. I started coming down and his students started coming home with C. So my parents were a bit worried. They started asking questions. They were just curious. What's wrong, Peter? What's wrong? They started asking a lot of questions. So it was towards the end of SS2 that I realized that no, I'm actually going in the wrong way. I'm actually following the wrong train. So I just need to call myself back to order, define my goal, tell myself why I was aiming for those grades. And thank God for the fact that I had a mentor back then. So I spoke with a mentor. So he gave me some practical steps, which I'll be sharing with you guys. And it was from those practical step that I applied, and that was how I was able to get over that distraction.
That was quite a very interesting story. So a lady swept you off your feet. How interesting. So let's move to the next question. I don't want to dwell so much on your personal story, even though it was quite self-explanatory. I would have loved to talk more about it, but let's just move on. So, what exactly was the turning point and realization that made you recognize the significance of focus? Yes, you talked about the mentor, so I think I would love you to expatiate on that.
Yeah. All right. So, the first thing I did was the fact that, as I said earlier, was to speak with the mentor. Then he actually told me to firstly, although generally now, apart from the fact that I was being distracted by a lady, I was also distracted by other things as well, by like social media, wrong influence and all that. So the first thing he told me was the fact that I should practice mindfulness. And that took me to a moment of being alone, asking myself some questions. I could remember back then I asked myself the 5 big whys. So I was able to pinpoint the reason why I was giving myself into some activities. So he told me that, all right, I should stay alone in my room. I should ask myself some practical questions, which I did. And trust me, it was a beautiful moment. It was then I was able to pinpoint it, or it was then I was able to pick out those distractions. So the first thing I did was to spend more time with myself. I was asking questions. I was asking myself questions, and that led me to, of course, ask God for help. All right, that was the first thing I did. All right, so the second thing was to take a short break. Yeah, back then I could remember I told the girl that, do you know what? I don't think I'll be able to move forward with this relationship. So I just took a short break. Yeah, exactly. And also I took a short break from other activities as well. All right, so I was able to also train my brain to say no to some things, because I discovered that the reason why people are distracted is their ability not to say no. Actually, a lot of people cannot say no when it is required. So I was able to say no. And lastly, I also embraced the power of reducing multitasking. Yes, I discovered that I could not run my academics with relationships. So the first thing I did was to cut out or to remove my time with my girlfriend back then. So I just cut out those precious time, and that helped to have more time to myself. So practically that was all I did. I spent more time with myself. I took a short break. Of course, I trained my brain, and lastly, I reduced multitasking.
Okay, very well. So just to clarify, mindfulness is staying more with yourself, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Because some people might be wondering, what did you mean by mindfulness? Just to clarify that. So You've already talked about the steps you took to cultivate a focused mindset, which was mindfulness, train your mind, and can you say the other two?
All right, take a short break.
All
right, reduce multitasking.
Awesome. Very well. So now we're going to move to the challenges of staying focused. So first of all, we're going to be discussing common distractions that people face and challenges that can derail focus. So can you say the common ones that people go through that derail focus?
Yeah, all right. So before I go into that, I would like to just define the word distraction. Distraction is inattentive to what claims or demand your attention, your ability to not pay attention to what is demanding your attention. All right, of course. And being distracted also simply means you are living a scattered life, you are not organized, you are absent-minded, or you are preoccupied. All right, so the common distraction, of course, we are in the 21st century. They are just basic one, like your social media, the time you are spending with your friends. The friends that are not valuable, the friends that are not adding value to your life, the time you are spending not achieving your goals. All right, the common distractions are just the time you spend on social media, the time you spend with your phone, the time you spend with your lover, probably if you are in a relationship. And yeah, basically, I believe that's all.
Okay, great. So he has made a list of some of the common distractions. So what makes it difficult to stay focused, and how do you overcome those challenges I just mentioned?
Yeah, all right. Basically, it's just one thing, and that's vague vision. I believe if you don't have a clear vision, it will be very easy for you to be distracted. Exactly. If you don't have a clear written vision. So focused people are people that have a goal they are running with. Yes, I'm yet to see a distracted successful man. I've never seen one actually. So the reason why people are easily distracted is that they don't have a clear written goal, they don't have a burning desire, they don't have a sense of direction, they don't have a big assignment that they are chasing.
Okay, thank you very much. So it's just having a clearly stated vision and goals, or perhaps objectives, whichever word you will use. And I love the word that you said, vague. So don't stay vague. So now, could you share some strategies and techniques you employ to overcome distractions and stay focused?
Yeah, all right. So I'll be listening to this now. Have a plan before you sleep. Okay, you can embrace your to-do list. You can write your goals. Like for me now, I write my goals before I sleep. Even apart from writing it in my diary, I put it at the top of my shelf where I can easily see it. Exactly, of course. And also you can turn off your notification if your phone is a distraction to you. You can turn off your notification. On my phone, you hardly see a notification pops up. It's not possible. You can just turn off your notification. And thirdly, also you can practice meditation. Yes, a moment whereby you are just alone with yourself. Yes, you can practice meditation, set smaller goals. Exactly. It can also help you to stay focused because, achieving smaller goals will trigger your desire to achieve your bigger goals. So you can just break down your goals, break it into smaller goals. And of course, you can use virtual reminder. This is what I do a lot. Before I sleep, I imagine the next day. Yes, I imagine a lot. I just sit down imagining myself achieving that goals. Yes, there are times that I just spend time just meditating with my eyes closed. It will help you to remain focused using your virtual reminders also. And lastly, you can reward yourself. Exactly. Whenever you achieve your smaller goals, you can reward yourself. You can write sticky notes to yourself and embrace your little achievements. Exactly. You can celebrate your little.
Okay, so now someone might be wondering, okay, you've said a lot of things. How do I identify my distraction and how do I eliminate them?
Alright, so actually the best way to identify your distraction, it's actually just simple. You can actually identify your distraction by paying attention to those things that are taking you away from your goals. Exactly. It's as simple as that. Once
So that
you
means
can.
if you don't have goals, there can be distractions.
Exactly. That was why I said from the onset that a distracted man is a man without goals.
Okay, great. So that's very perfect. I think that nails it. And I eliminate it by recognize after I say that this can derail me from whatever I'm doing or is affecting whatever I desire to achieve, then I know that this is a distraction, so I get rid of it, right?
Exactly.
Very good. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is habits. And what do you think about habit development in relation to focus?
Yeah, of course. I actually do see something that every successful man has a good habit and a good thinking pattern. It's not possible to achieve success with a wrong or with a bad habit. Of course, the first thing I would like to say is that to be focused, you would actually need to pay attention to your habit, because in the first place, you are distracted because you have a wrong habit. Exactly. So in developing focus, you need to firstly pay attention to your daily schedules. Exactly. So the first thing I would like to tell my listeners is that apart from writing out their goals, they need to write the habits that is required to achieve those goals. Now for students, now you know that of course I need to create a reading habit, I need to create a reading atmosphere, and I need to create a reading culture. For a businessman now, he knows that I need to embrace the power of money management, and apart from that, I need to be disciplined to know what time to go to office and what time to come back to office. And exactly, the truth is, you know your goals, right? You've written them down, but you don't have the energy to achieve it. And the gap between you achieving your goals and the gap between writing down your goals and achieving them is just focus. Exactly. So the missing link is focus. So in building focus, you actually need to pay attention to habit development.
I think I'm going to take that as a quote. The gap between achieving your goals, and the gap between your written goals and achieving them is focus. That's very deep and profound. So the next thing I would like to talk about is your daily routine. So can you talk a little bit about your daily routine and how it has helped you to maintain focus?
Yeah, basically, generally I cannot just give you my daily routine. It's not copy and paste now. Before I would tell my audience my daily routine now, I would like to tell them that I'm a student. So that would definitely determine my routine. Now, it might not really apply to a business tycoon. It might not apply to a married man, of course. So generally now, my daily routine is firstly, I pray. I observe my quiet time. That's the first thing I do. When I wake up, I observe my quiet time. Then immediately I pick up a motivational book, because I know that to achieve my goals, I need to stay motivated. So I pick up a book. It could be a leadership book. It could be a business book. It could be a book on academics. So I pick up my book, and exactly. So apart from that, I go to class. Then towards the evening, I do something. I practice an habit called meditation. I just stay alone in my room, picturing my goals. As I stated earlier, I picture my goals. I write down those thoughts that runs through my mind. I write it down, and towards the night time, I pray, and late into the night, I pick up a motivational book. So basically, my day is centered around adding value to myself and adding value to other people. There are other moments also I spend with my friend to intentionally add value to them.
Okay, very good. Thank God you mentioned the word motivation. So can you talk a little bit about motivation and how it applies to sustaining focus, and also some strategies you use to stay motivated during challenging times?
Alright, so I would like to start with the latter part, which is that how I stay motivated in challenging period. Right, my first motivation is God. Exactly, I go back to God for strength renewal, because there are times that I might really practice everything I know to stay motivated, and I will remain unmotivated, if there's a word like that. But the first thing I do is just that I go back to God for strength renewal. All right, so practically on a more practical sense now, the first thing I do is that I pick up a motivational book. Let me use the word motivational book now. I pick up a book to inspire me. Now, there are times that I know that I've encountered failure in my business, in my academics. So the first thing I do is not that I don't necessarily speak to people. Yeah, that's good. You can speak to people. No, I speak to myself through book, or I listen to superior minds through books. So I pick up a book and I ask question, and of course in picking books I look for a book that can answer my question. Why did I fail? What is this setback meant to do in my life? I just answer those practical questions through books. And apart from that, secondly, I speak to my mentor. I speak to my pastor. I speak to my friend, valuable friends. I speak to them. So to remain motivated, the first thing I do is to get books. Secondly, I speak to my mentor. The third thing is I listen to motivational videos. I watch motivational videos a lot. I listen to anointed speakers. I listen to people that I know that they can push me, they can inspire me, they can add value to my life. I pay attention to those words, and of course, I turn everything into prayer.
Okay, so you talked about books and perhaps some speakers. Can you suggest or make some recommendations?
Yeah, all right. The first person I would like to recommend is God. Yeah, the best author. Yeah, apart from God now, there is John C. Maxwell he's actually a leadership coach. There's also Miles Moron. He writes on purpose. There's Kenneth Hagin, he's a spiritual writer. There's Trambrisi as well. Exactly. Basically, that's those authors that came to mind.
Very good. So you mentioned something about setback too. Can you talk about bouncing back from setback and maintaining focus in face of adversity?
All right. So it's actually very difficult to remain focused in the face of adversity. I can tell you from experience, it's very
can you
difficult.
Share a story that also gives that lesson in relation to the question I asked earlier?
Yeah, I could remember the first time I experienced a setback. It was an examination. I wrote an examination and I failed. And it was a very painful one because I know that I'm a brilliant student. I know that myself. And I know that, of course, people's expectations were high. Even my parents were disappointed and all that. So the first thing I did, although it was quite very painful, the first thing I did was to go back to God. And apart from going back to God, I could remember back then I released my emotion. I've seen a lot of motivational speakers. They will tell you that hide your emotion. Release your emotion. If it takes to cry, cry. If you know that crying will heal you, you can cry. I remember back then I cried and I made sure that I cried. And it was okay. But I actually didn't stay in that point. The next thing I did was to tell myself that there's a scriptural word that says that gather yourself together. The next thing I did was tell myself that, Peter, this is not the end. This is not the end. You can do better. And I told myself back then that if I was given equal opportunity and time, I can achieve same goal. So I told myself that it is possible. So I did a lot of speaking back to myself, and exactly back then I listened to motivational skits as well. I listened to motivational people. I told my mentor, but apart from that, I need to tell myself that I can do it. And with that, thank God for what he did back then.
Awesome. So he didn't stay on the ground. The Bible says a righteous man fall many times but will rise again. So crying might be soothing, but don't stay there. You can still do something. And now we're going to be rounding off. So could you talk about some of the positive effects of being able to focus, and such as productivity, increased productivity, reduce stress, improve mental health? Just give some words.
Yeah, all right. It seems this particular question, it was looking like the previous one. Yeah. All right, just to add to what I said earlier, focus gives you a sense of direction. You know what to do next, actually, because you are going with a plan now. Exactly, you know what to do next. You don't just do anything. You don't do things anyhow. Focus is actually a background to excellence and to success because you have a sense of direction. Exactly, it's more or less like a map that is guiding your life. And also, focus is actually a secret to organization. I believe an organized man will actually not pass through a lot of stress. I mean, mental thinking, because he knows what to do. Exactly. So it's focus help you to not just to achieve your goal. It help you to live an organized life, and it is that organized living that brings about success.
Very good. So, do you have any last words?
Yeah, all right. So generally now, I would just advise my people to stay connected to God, because it is God. It takes God to live a focused life. Yeah, but beyond the principle, beyond the motivational word, beyond the videos and the books I recommended, it actually takes the help of God to remain focused. And secondly, I would actually advise people to write out their goals. It will help them a lot, actually. It's actually very hard to remain focused when you don't have a goal, because the only thing that can steal your passion is your goal. The only thing that can fuel your energy is your goals. So I would advise my online listeners to pay attention to goal writing. It's important. I've seen people, they'll tell me that they have their goals somewhere in their mind. No, take out time to write your goals. And lastly, I'll advise my people to remain inspired and motivated through book reading, so they can embrace the power of reading and meditate.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter. Thank you for your time. So, for those who might like to stay connected to you, perhaps they enjoy this discussion and they would like to remain in contact. So, how can they stay in touch?
Yeah, all right. So I would like to just release my social media handle. All right. I don't know. After this section, you'll see my number, and of course, I'm actually on Facebook. Distinguished Peter Lawal on Facebook. Distinguished Peter Lawal. I believe that's all. You can just chat me up on Facebook, or probably you can pick up my number from the podcast.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. We've come to the end of this episode, and it was really awesome. The power of focus. I'm sure you've been able to pick up one or two things, learn here and there. Unlearn, relearn, which is actually the aim and objective of this podcast. So don't forget to like, don't forget to follow, don't forget to share. See you in the next episode. It's Oladapo. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.